You won't believe what happened that day at a small, cozy restaurant downtown. It was supposed to be just a normal afternoon, people quietly chatting, waiters bustling around, the usual hum of casual dining. But then, out of nowhere, the atmosphere shifted dramatically because of one woman. A woman who completely lost it on the poor waitress. And what happened next? Well, Jason Statham, yes, that Jason Statham, was sitting right behind her. What he did left everyone speechless. It all started when the waitress, a young woman named Emma, approached the table with a bright smile and a notepad ready. She was new, still learning the ropes, but genuinely eager to do a good job. The rude woman, who was dining with a few friends, immediately cut Emma off before she even got a chance to say a word. Finally, about time someone came over, she snapped, her voice loud enough to turn heads. You could feel the tension rising instantly. Emma stayed calm, trying to be professional despite the harsh tone. She politely asked for their order, but the woman interrupted again. Can you just get me a coffee? Black. And make it fast, I don't have all day. Her impatience was clear, and her tone sharp as a knife. Emma nodded and turned to leave, but the woman shouted after her, and don't mess it up this time. That's when the entire restaurant seemed to hold its breath. People exchanged uncomfortable glances. Emma froze briefly, her hands trembling slightly, but she turned and hurried to the counter. Everyone could feel the weight of that moment, the unfairness of the situation hanging heavily in the air. Meanwhile, Jason Statham, who had been quietly enjoying his meal just a few feet away, was watching everything unfold with a growing frown. He's known for his calm, composed demeanor, but even he didn't expect what came next. The rude woman continued to rant among her friends, loud and obnoxious, acting as if she owned the place. A few customers were beginning to get annoyed, whispering about how disrespectful she was. But nobody dared say anything until Jason Statham decided to step in. He calmly rose from his seat, walked up behind the woman, and in his unmistakable deep voice said, "Excuse me, ma'am. I think you might want to reconsider how you're treating the people who are here to help you." His tone wasn't angry, it was steady and firm, like someone who simply expects respect to be the norm. The woman spun around, shocked to see him right there. She blinked, then scoffed. "And who are you to tell me how to speak? You don't even work here." But Jason didn't back down. Instead, he leaned in slightly and said, "No, I don't. But I'm someone who knows the value of respect, something you seem to be lacking." There was a silence that felt like it lasted forever. The whole restaurant was watching, frozen. Then Jason gestured toward Emma, who was nervously wiping a table nearby. "She's been nothing but polite and professional, even with how you've spoken to her. Maybe it's time you apologize." The woman's face flushed red, her bravado suddenly cracking. But instead of apologizing, she muttered something about being stressed and looked away, embarrassed. Jason shook his head slowly and said, "Stress isn't an excuse to treat people badly. Think about that." Then, with a final nod to Emma, Jason turned and went back to his seat. Emma's eyes were wide, almost in disbelief. She whispered a soft thank you just loud enough for him to hear. That moment changed the entire mood of the restaurant. The rude woman went quiet for the rest of her meal, and the other customers went back to enjoying their time, now with a new sense of respect for the waitress and a quiet admiration for the man who stood up for her. It's rare to see celebrities act this way, so down to earth, so real. Jason Statham didn't have to get involved, but he did. And because of that, a small act of kindness and justice rippled through that restaurant and beyond. Emma later shared with a local news reporter how that day made her feel. How scared she was at first, but how Jason's words gave her the courage to keep going. She said, "It reminded me that no matter how rude some people can be, there are still people out there who see your worth and will stand up for you." This story spread quickly on social media. People loved hearing about Jason's humility and kindness, his willingness to defend someone who couldn't defend herself. It became a viral example of how respect and kindness matter, even in the smallest moments. So next time you see someone being rude or disrespectful, remember this story. Remember that sometimes, All it takes is one person standing up to change the entire room, and maybe even change someone's life. Because kindness isn't just a word, it's an action. And when someone like Jason Statham shows us what that looks like, it reminds us all how powerful respect can be.